All right, so what we've got is a situation where the e-Karen in Australia has once again tried to censor the world and is given a takedown notice. I'm just going to look over here and pretend that Carly's there, even though she's not, because, why not? She's decided that she's going to take over the world's internet once again and take down all of the posts on X specifically. And I misspoke actually in a video. It wasn't actually on a mix of platforms. It was just on X, targeting a bunch of people that had reposted the video of the stabbing of Irina Zarutska. Now, this is the girl who was stabbed, the Ukrainian refugee who was stabbed to death on a train by a massive black dude with a dozen or 14 or something prior arrests and a history of violence and a history of mental illness, and he was back out on the street for the same reasons why Victoria keep releasing their violent criminals. She was stabbed to death. Now, interestingly, that didn't go viral straight away. The stabbing happened, the murder happened, the CCTV footage was released, and for about 3 weeks, nothing happened. No one knew. Thank you for just walking straight through the middle of my camera and reminding everybody that I'm currently talking to... Hey, G, she's putting on a show for me.
As you were.
That I was talking to a blank space. I got a blank space over here.
I got a blank space,
yeah, exactly.
baby.
Tay-tay. So it took about 3 weeks, and then it was picked up by an American alternative news website, and it was posted by them, and it went massively viral. Can I get 2 ibuprofen and 2...
I was going to say, this is actual migraine medication. Do you have a migraine? That's like actual...
No, because I don't have the big blotchiness. I've got a really bad headache, but it is still a headache.
Okay, so that's what you take at the first onset of a migraine, so no?
I'll stick with this. Usually this works pretty well for me. Excuse us
down.
while we... Ibuprofen lysine. I've not had that.
Super quick.
Okay. All right. Well...
People are going to be like, Carly is a pharmacy.
Thank you for being my drug dealer, Carly. Excuse me, everybody. While
do you know what it is? I have no patience with pain.
Yeah.
I don't. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, no tolerance, no threshold.
No.
So
Can't be fucked.
It went viral, and rightly so, and people were outraged. But now they were doubly outraged. They were outraged at the murder itself and the fact that he should have been behind bars and all of that. But they were also now outraged at the mainstream media blackout, and that's why this thing went super mega viral. Video got shared everywhere. Now, I've got to admit, I was a little bit surprised that the video was being shared as uncensored as it was, as much as it was.
Yeah.
This is a pretty, it was a little bit like the Charlie Kirk thing, which obviously came a little bit later on. But, the video was I was a bit surprised. Even platforms and mainstream media that I would have thought would normally have censored it were not. However, what happened because of that campaign that came around that, they started doing murals. They raised $1 million Elon Musk put in $1 million and other people put in huge amounts of money to fund murals that are getting painted all over the US right now to say her name, because the mainstream media had tried to not say her name. They'd tried to basically forget that she ever existed. And so in that context, then, the e-Karen, who has an axe to grind against Elon Musk, has issued a takedown notice for a 30-something, I think it was, X posts explicitly that show the video of the stabbing of Irina Zarutska. Interestingly, not a single one of those accounts, to my knowledge, was Australian. She's targeted overseas accounts that have posted video of a Ukrainian girl getting stabbed to death in America.
I don't understand. I do understand how she got to her position, but how is this allowed? Firstly, I know she's dual citizen, but she's an American ex-Twitter executive who's been parachuted into this very prestigious role and seems to have unfettered power to determine what the entire world sees on X.
Now, the question is, how did she get there? The post turtle. If you see a turtle sitting up on a fence post, you don't know how it got there, but you know it didn't get there by itself. That is definitely the case with her. Now, the e-safety commissioner was invented by Scott Morrison with bipartisan support, and I think she was actually appointed by Scott Morrison, but don't quote me on that. From 2014 to 16, she worked for Twitter. Now, she was basically the originator of a lot of their safety, their trust and safety department. She ran a lot of that until 2016. She moved on to greener pastures. When Musk came in, within hours, he was firing people from the trust and safety department. This is 2020.
Yeah, I remember all that.
Was it when he took over, I think?
22.
He starts firing trust and safety people. They do the whole speech not reach thing, and then ultimately what actually causes even that to be abandoned by Musk was when they tried to suppress the D-Trans documentary by PragerU. and then the What Is a Woman documentary, and that was ultimately when Musk just turned around and said, screw you all.
Yeah, you're done.
Screw you all, you're done. And he, of course, did that because he has a daughter who's been sent down the train rabbit hole by
Son,
her mother.
who became-
son, sorry, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And so that was very personal for him. And that was the end of Julie Inman Grant's work. So the E-Safety Commissioner, her name's Julie Inman Grant. Her work that she started in 2014 ended in 2022 with essentially the complete neutering of the Trust and Safety Office. And now all they do is the actual stuff like dealing with pedophilia and all the rest of that. So what she has sought to do, and the reason why I think she's targeting X, that video's all over TikTok.
Yeah.
The video's all over, other platforms. She hasn't targeted them. She's targeted X. She's trying to use her position with the Australian government on the Australian taxpayer's dime to essentially replace herself at Twitter. She's trying to be the Trust and Safety Department of Twitter from afar.
This is such an overreach, but also the ego on her. But wasn't it just a couple of months ago that there's this massive story around her using her office to try and remove posts about her specifically?
So I don't know about removing, but she's used her office to keep tabs on people. So they've stored an enormous amount of information.
Yeah.
Now, this came out because of the Free Speech Union.
Yes.
Dr. Ruben Kirkham, I did an interview with him, and I have another interview with him that's about to come out to do with a slightly different thing that I'll talk about in a sec. But they set up a website where it just made it easy for people to do freedom of information requests to the e-safety office, asking them, what do you have on me? What have you kept? Now, that's a reasonable thing for a taxpayer to want to know from a taxpayer-funded department who's not supposed to be keeping tabs on anyone, by the way. That's not a part of her remit.
Yeah.
And then the responses that came back started to become quite astonishing. There were people with thousands of pages that the e-Karen had kept about them specifically. And typically it was the people that had been criticising the e-Karen.
Yeah.
These weren't people who were committing acts that other Australians were complaining about. These were people who were speaking about her.
Yeah.
So I would imagine I've probably got a fair bit on there as well. What she has started to do is she's actually starting to refuse, or her office is refusing the Freedom of Information requests on the basis that it would take them too much time to go through every document and redact what needs to be removed and redacted from the information before providing it to you. So now she's admitting that she's got vast amounts of data that's been hoovered up without any real quality control. They don't even know what's in there.
Yeah.
And it would take them too long to even go through it to redact it.
She's absolutely losing every battle though, because
she is.
Yeah.
And
I was, like I said, I wasn't really paying a whole lot of attention apart from what you'd put out and what I'd seen.
Yeah.
But now I'm really invested in this story because this bitch, I'm going to call her a bitch because she is one, just needs to be shown her place and also be shown the door.
She needs to be shown the door. That whole office needs to be shut down.
Abolished,
You said she's losing everywhere, and she is. She actually literally is.
Yeah.
So let's go through a couple of the cases. So she was taken on by Billboard Chris. So you remember Billboard Chris made some comments about, what was his name, Teddy Cook, who's this weirdo who had been given a high-level position with the UN to do with transgender treatment or whatever. I don't remember the details on that. And he'd simply called he or him. And that was offensive, and the E-Safety Commissioner deemed that to be all the reason that she needed to censor Billboard Chris. Chris sued and was backed by Elon Musk.
Yeah.
All right, and this is important. It was backed by Elon Musk. They have a grudge. The E-Safety Commissioner and Elon Musk have a grudge. There is something personal about this, and that matters. That's actually a really good thing for us going forward. The E-Safety Commissioner lost that case, and ultimately everything got thrown out, and Billboard Chris was fine, and all the posts had to be reinstated and left alone. Now, we've also seen her try and censor the stabbing of Bishop Mamari, Emmanuel. Yeah. So she tried to have all those videos taken down. Now, X refused to take them down, but they did geo-block them. And I'm a little bit grumpy at Elon Musk for this, but anyway, he has other battles to fight as well. What that meant was essentially the E-Safety Commissioner kind of won that battle, because at least it wasn't being shown to Australians anymore. She lost in the sense, so what happened then, as soon as it was geo-blocked in Australia, the E-Safety Commissioner withdrew the global takedown order.
Yeah.
And by doing that, she avoided it ever having to go to a decision, a tribunal, to actually determine whether she has that power or not, because she manifestly does not.
Yeah.
Right? And she knew that once it was geo-blocked in Australia, she no longer had standing, so she withdrew the case. Right?
So you obviously saw this. This is the...
so this is the latest round. So this is to do with the takedown order for the Irina Zarutska videos.
So we're writing to inform you that X has received a legal demand from the Australian E-Safety Commissioner regarding your X account that claims the following content violates Australian law. If you weren't Australian and you got this, wouldn't you just be like,
Yeah.
fuck off?
So can you go to her actual post? Because what she says about this is perfect. If that's the Eva, So click on that. That bottom paragraph there to summarize. Read what that says.
To summarise that for you, Australians are paying taxes so that bureaucrats can censor posts from European activists talking about the murder of a Ukrainian woman in America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how absurd this is. But I want to stay on this for a little bit longer because this is a rabbit hole worth diving down. So because the Free Speech Union had set up that tool that helped people to lodge freedom of information requests, the Karen herself, Julie Inman Grant, this is how petty she is. She was over in America. She made some very disparaging and, in my personal opinion, defamatory remarks about the Free Speech Union. Mm-hmm. So the Free Speech Union then sued her, then basically complained to her about her.
Yeah.
So the e-safety office is where you go if you're being subjected to online bullying.
Yes.
So they lodged an online bullying complaint about the words of Julie Inman Grant to Julie Inman Grant. What she did was say, well, we're not going to make a decision about this, right? Which is her default cop-out, right? So if she makes a decision, either this was bullying or this was not bullying, two things happen. One, she has to give a statement of reasons for why she's made the decision. And two, her decision can be appealed to the tribunal.
Yeah.
And there's a tribunal that sits above her, basically. But if she never makes a decision, you can't go to the tribunal because there's no decision for you to appeal. So Australians that have gone to the e-safety commissioner, and there are tens of thousands now, with complaints about something that's been done or said online, keep getting this response, no decision, no decision, no decision. And she keeps saying, well, you can't appeal. So she's not doing her actual job, but she is hoovering up all sorts of pages of information about people who are talking about her online.
Well, wouldn't you know it? Back again, you could not help yourself, could you? I get it. I am absolutely ridiculously good looking. So you should probably go and subscribe. And whilst you're there, maybe shout us a coffee. I have to put up with this guy every week, twice a week, for you and your entertainment, much to my displeasure. But alas, I do it because I am a virtuous soul and you're welcome. So please subscribe and tell other people to go watch because I need help.